for the community. Inspire Radio.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back. I'm with our special guests here and Ali. But no, we got Charlie and Georgia, twins from Youth Ministry.
Yeah, we're from 24/7 Youth Ministry. This is Charlie. I'm Georgia. We're twins, if you haven't already guessed that already, so it's pretty hard to tell us apart.
No, it's not.
Well, we're going to sound the same. Dang it.
I just realised that we have the same voice.
We have the same voice, same laugh. You just never know
Look,
who's
if you're listening to it on without the visual, you will not be able to tell who's
We're the
talking.
same person.
Wait, so you're saying that we really only needed one of you?
We only need one of you.
I don't know why you got both of us.
Well, no,
the
this
spice.
is important because one of you might have knowledge that the other one does not have.
100%, that's true.
100%.
There we go. And that's going to come into play very soon because we're playing a quiz.
Yeah, we are. We're playing a Disney
cool.
quiz.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Great.
I love Disney. Grew
love
up on that stuff.
Disney, yes.
Yep.
I
That's
love
that's what the
Tangled.
one-
That's my favourite one.
Even Disney?
Is that Disney?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
Yes,
yeah.
I love Tangled.
Disney princesses.
I get confused
Goose.
with Disney and Pixar and the.
They're
and
under
what's
the
what.
same brand
Well,
now, anyway.
that's it. They're all owned by the same conglomerate, so you know the money goes to the same place. And let's
The
hope
money
some of
goes
that
to
is
the
charity, and some of it is a science division. Did you know Disney has a science division?
Oh, really?
No.
That's
Wow.
True story.
I
Yeah,
can't
they
even
had the
imagine
research.
what Disney looks like in like headquarters. Like I could imagine just Disney princesses. You can't come to work unless you're dressed up as a Disney princess.
like the Wreck-It Ralph breaks the internet.
Yeah, exactly that.
That's exactly what I pictured Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when they made the movie, I was like, "Are you just shooting it at Disney headquarters?" And I was like, "That's
Yeah,
pretty cool."
that's what I thought. Like when I saw, have you seen Full House?
I've seen a couple episodes
Well,
of that.
there's one where they go to like Disney, and Joey goes into Disney headquarters,
Ah,
and he's like
cool.
drawing, and it's all these people, and they're drawing little cartoons on like things. That's what I imagine when I think Disney
Nice,
headquarters.
nice.
They're always drawing.
Yeah, they're always drawing little
Constantly have a
characters.
notepad next to us.
New characters.
I need to get more characters out.
I picture a lair inside of an active volcano.
Ah, yes, I see.
Fair enough.
I do see that vibe as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you need to stay warm.
You're not wrong.
It's the only way to stay warm sometimes. Lava.
Lava. Now tell me.
Oh, he's got his serious face on now. Look out!
Interview
Yeah.
time.
Look out!
What do you guys do at Youth Ministry?
Oh.
24/7.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay,
Take it
Charlie
in
will start.
turns.
I'll add
Hi.
on.
Okay, so we are at a organisation called 24/7 Youth Ministry. It is a amazing organisation.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
This is a trigger warning because we may be talking about Catholic stuff. So just in case people feel uncomfortable talking about that,
Yep.
we just need to put a trigger warning out there.
Yeah.
So this is your trigger warning. If you don't like it, you can go now. Love you. And
I mean, but do come back.
Yeah.
If
Do
you want
we
to
have
say
a
it,
rough-
very
come back.
respectful
rough
people.
estimate on how long people.
we'll talk about this for maybe 20 minutes, I reckon. Is that yeah?
And after
and
that,
then
all
we'll-
clear.
Yeah, and then we'll be playing games.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we come from an organisation that specialises in making youth groups around Perth, and we have 13 locations. I think, is it 13 or 14?
It's 13, and it's always popping up new ones. But currently, we are at 13.
Currently we have
youth
13.
groups,
We have 2 south of the river, and then all the rest up north of the river. So me and Georgia both she runs the one in Greenwood, which
Shout
is
out to Max.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to
I run
Max.
it with a guy called Max. Sunday nights, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Greenwood,
and
yeah.
I run it at Servite College.
Shout out to Peter.
Shout out to Peter.
Yeah.
I met both of them yesterday, and they're
Oh,
really cool
cool.
people.
Yeah,
Every youth group has like a male and female youth minister, so
Yeah.
we work closely with another
Yeah.
youth minister. Which is really
Yeah, I came from. There's one in. It's called South. There's one in Rockingham. Is where I met Jack. So I ran that all last year. That's how I met Jack. Sadly, I had to move up to Servite, but still love all them. But at the youth group, it's a really, really nice baseline for kids that don't really understand what their faith is like. I know that before me and Georgia were even Catholic, we went to youth groups. And so it's a very non-threatening place where you feel safe and you can just share your ideas. We usually have we have games at the start, really, really fun games. We have a little bit of talk. We call it input. Very, very, very not too not too
heavy.
Not too heavy
Brainwashing.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more. It's meant to be very light. And then we have free food, is what mainly the kids come
Yeah, a
for.
lot of
Free
people
food.
come for
Free food and games.
and
It's
then
a
we-
big
yeah.
box. It's a big box to tick for me.
Yeah. So, and it's genuinely, it's so much fun. Me and Jojo went as participants, and now we're leaders in there, and it's just a great place to be on a Friday or a Sunday night.
That is a
It is really
terrific thing.
Yeah.
So what has the effect been on you, do you think, Georgia, from going from being someone involved to becoming a leader? Like, how is that?
It's a good question.
grown?
We actually get challenged to think about this a lot because we have to remind ourselves what we're doing. Obviously, I came like when I was 14 when I first started coming, because it's years 7 to year 12. Some of them are year 6s as well. But it's definitely for me. I only basically went just because it was like a safe, fun, engaging environment. I met people. I really enjoyed being there. It wasn't until I was 18 that like they suggested me a leader, and I was like, no, thank you.
Why was that?
It was just because I wasn't Catholic at the time as well, and I didn't really see myself as a good leader. But the girl who was running at the time, one of my good friends now, she was like, look, just give it a go. If you don't like it, just step down. Anyway, just fell in love with it. I really, really enjoyed it, to the point where I became a youth minister, which is like you have to do a year of Bible college. The reason I did that, and every single time I run youth group on a Sunday night, I look out and everyone's having such a fun time. It's such a fun space. Kids come from all different backgrounds, so it's not just Catholic kids. It's any kids. They come, they feel safe. It's like an hour and a half of really good free babysitting for the parents as well, which they love. And they come back because there's a sense of this is an environment that I feel welcomed, and that's something that I really love creating that space because I really craved that space when I was younger. So I think once you start going and once you become a leader, you just want to keep there. And obviously you can't go there after you turn 18. So you have to do the next step of becoming a youth minister. And that's what both me and Charlie did. Yeah. So we both run youth groups. It's really, really fun.
That sounds really nourishing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's nice to be that person that someone else was to you.
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely,
fulfilling.
absolutely.
And sometimes you just think about it and you're like, wow, it's a full circle because the people that you ministered to are becoming leaders and you're like, oh, my kids are growing up. It's
and
so
the
beautiful.
person who was my youth minister, I took over her job, which was such a cool feeling. Yeah, it was really good. And I met her.
What did you do with her afterwards?
Well, she's now an RN, and I'm actually studying nursing. It's very interesting, yeah. But she's kind of hit an age where she's starting to go on with her nursing career. So yeah. But some people use youth ministry as something to do work-wise while you're studying, which is both what me and Charlie are doing. It's so good. And we do get paid for what we do, but we absolutely would do it even if we didn't get paid.
I feel like I lose money with youth ministry because the amount of things that I put towards to make the kids have a good time.
You definitely don't go into youth ministry for the profit.
It's not the profit.
But it's amazing. It's a really good place. And I love it when kids come up to me and thank you so much for such a great night. I'll be back next week. And those kids, I've had a great experience where a kid's like, please, Mum, don't leave me here. And they come in and then at the end of the night, they're like, don't let me leave, Mum, I want to stay. And it's such a good feeling that you get to create that space.
Yeah. You get the same thing with toddlers and bath time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I don't want to have a bath.
No.
Oh, but then, 5 minutes more in the bath. I don't want to get out of the bath.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you both are just right at home and
absolutely, yeah.
doing a wonderful job there. I mean, if you're getting that sort of effect on kids coming up to you and saying, oh, look, you've turned me around, I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you have any little proteges, do you think, that are coming up? You got a couple that might be
Oh man, yes. So
following in your footsteps?
there has been one of my youth that told me that she's doing Bible college next year, that she's becoming youth minister like I am, and that's just so amazing because my year of Bible college was a really, really good experience because we weren't raised Catholic or religious at all in that sense. We didn't really have the knowledge. We didn't have, people would ask us these hard-hitting questions and we'd have to say, I'm really sorry. Actually, I haven't worked that out yet. I haven't really done that with my faith. It's more like just a baseline faith. So me and Ginger both went to Bible college, different years. So I went 2 years ago, she went last year. And it was really, really nice because it was going through one was just going through the Bible, which was really, really cool. And then others was just talking about the history. And we actually have now a background knowledge that we didn't have before. And obviously there's still questions that pop up that we actually have to really think about, but it definitely gives us that knowledge to talk to kids about the church and stuff.
I think that's a really great opportunity to take, because faith aside, I don't know, have you been through it? The Bible's a pretty fascinating read.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like,
on your own, it's very scary.
It is very scary.
It's it goes up, it goes down, you'll laugh, you'll cry, like the whole thing. Pretty cool. So to be able to give that, being given that time to just sit and absorb something is, again, something that must be very good for you to be able to reflect on and
100%.
grow with.
So yeah, we went every day.
I'd like that if someone gave me the time with like Lord of the Rings. Just here's a year, take a year and just do that. Just read that. That'd be great.
I actually really like Lord of the Rings. I recently watched them.
Yeah. But no, with the one thing I do like about Bible college is that you're with a certain amount of people, and ours was only 10 people. I think George was only like 12 or something like that.
Mine was 8. Mine wasn't a very big
we also
It started out as 12.
So I only had 10 people, and you see each other every day for 4 days a week for the whole year. And the friendships I've made from, like, they're like my brothers and sisters now, basically. It's really, really nice to have such a really close bond with people. So that year was also about making friendships and stuff.
Yeah. My favourite thing that I have seen since I've become a youth minister, so when I was year 8 and I first came, I was one of those kids that was like, I don't want to be here. And I used to ask really hard questions to the leaders, and I am like that person now, that people come and ask those questions. And I think we both have a little bit of a step forward in terms of answering this, because I've also asked these questions and I have had a lot of time to think about it, and I'm able to answer it in a way that's like, you know, I actually have questioned this before as well, and this is my answer to it. And it's
very
really,
normal
really
to question
cool.
things like that as well.
Yeah, definitely. People think it's scary, like, you know, you don't join Catholicism and be blinded by it. You actually need to continually ask questions why. We're encouraged to ask questions why. And I think us coming from a place of like, oh, no thank you, like we're very, at one point Charlie and I, no, this is not for us, to being now like, you know, supporters of like the faith and stuff, and really trying to live out the faith. Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's been a really cool transformative experience, which has been really awesome. Yeah. And Bible College was a really great year. Yeah.
Where is that, by the way?
So it's Acts 2 College of Mission and Evangelization, which is
I'm
awesome.
sorry, one more time?
Acts 2 College of Mission and Evangelization. It's known as Acts to Come.
Very fast talk.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like, yeah, I know. It's like
I think you've got to be around children, don't you? You've got to get the
Very
information out
excited,
before
yeah.
their
absolutely. Yeah.
attention just
You got to say it quickly.
zips out.
It is
It's
a long
actually-
name. Acts to Come. But really, really great. I think it's one of the only Catholic Bible colleges in Perth or something like that. And yeah, so basically it's a specific course called Certificate 4 of Youth
Catholic ministry specialising
Catholic ministry specialising in youth ministry, and basically once you do that you become a qualified youth minister, so you're able to go and you're able to run a youth group, because 24/7 and Acts 2 work very closely to each other. But yeah, it's 1 year full time and part time, obviously 2 years. I encourage, if you actually want to do it, you know, full time. You get to be with the same people and stuff. But it's like so many units mashed into one, where it's like, you know, catechism and like salvation history, which is like the basics, but then you have other ones like specifically youth ministry, how to talk to young people. You know, you even if you know like the Bible, you're not going to go up to a kid and be like, how did you like Genesis? Like, that's not how you're going to start a conversation with someone. And I
don't know.
I don't know what I think about that. 24/7 youth ministry actually is another branch of 24/7 school ministry. We do retreat programs for all the way down to year 3, so sacramental programs.
Charlie
to
did
year
my year
8.
eight
Yeah.
one.
And so yeah, and so you do we do Eucharistic retreats, Holy Communion and confirmation to those years, but like at the end of the day we invite them to our youth groups, which is really awesome. And that's probably what Jack did. He probably went to that and was like, okay, I'll continue. And it's basically like it's not just finished yet, like please come in our youth groups. And yeah, it's really, really awesome. And we both do both school ministry and youth ministry, which is really great. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys both seem like a lot of fun.
That's
really
you have to be fun to be a youth minister. People aren't going to come to youth group if you're not fun.
Yeah, well, it took us a while. You have to be very authentic.
Absolutely.
Children can sniff out fakeness very, very
Yeah.
easily. If you're overly like, hey guys, they're like, oh, I don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
You got to be honest and you got to be authentic, but you also have to be very tactful. It's a very
Yeah,
Fine
me and
line to
Georgia,
walk.
we do youth, like a ministry day maybe once every like couple months, and it's the best day because
We
I
get to be
feel very
together.
comfortable with her and like talking to kids with her. But we are very loud, so sometimes we get
kids
very
love
annoyed.
that.
But no, it was very fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
They are like some of my very favorite people in like 24/7 and like YMT youth ministry and all of
yeah.
it. To the point where yesterday I nearly jumped out of a moving car to go run at Charlie at Ice Den before I started. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
we just came
I
back
love that.
yesterday. We came back from, it was like a 1 day camp. It wasn't a camp, but it was a conference.
Conference, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just got young people together.
More free food.
Yeah,
More free
it,
food.
it
Oh,
was.
it's not free.
There was hot dogs, there was chips, there was hamburgers, there was
Yeah.
buttered chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buttered chicken was amazing.
Yeah,
It was a really good day.
It was a
Shout out to the
solid
chef.
day. Oh yeah.
Also,
yeah, but
our
like we even have Mario Borg. I'll mention his name. He is the director of 24/7.
Great guy.
A really awesome guy. He's got such a heart for ministry, and he goes above and beyond his pay level to do everything that he needs to do. And so he, amazing guy, and he really looks after the youth ministers as well as all the kids at 13 different youth groups, which is amazing. But it's basically like a network thing now where we went to the zoo trip on Wednesday, and like all the youth groups came. There was like over 100 people that came, and like they had such a fun day, and just creating that space where come along. And we have a website. If you look up 24/7 Youth Ministry, we have little all the team, all the locations, and so it's
So I'm
really
guessing
awesome.
it's just the numbers 247.
Youth Ministry.
Ministry,
yes, it's actually a Bible verse, which I didn't know until.
Oh yeah, it's named after a Bible.
Yeah,
verse,
I didn't realize. I thought it was meant like it's open 24/7. And it was a really
Yeah.
cool name.
Yeah.
It's actually 24. So it's 24.7, and it's Jeremiah 24/7. Yeah, I know.
Pop
And
quiz,
it's
who can recite it? Come
okay.
on.
Okay, it's
I will give you a heart to know me.
I'm gonna say
I'll
that.
give you a heart to know.
I'm
me.
just trying to pitch you against each other, and you're actually just working together.
I know.
So
we're half there. That's why. But it's awesome. It's really great. But it's got a really good name, and like kids love it. And like younger kids, obviously, when you're doing your 3 days, you're like, 24/7's coming, and it's coming to a point where I was like, yeah, so exciting. I love 24/7 because our whole retreat programs are based around them. So we do games that are based around them, and we do games that relate to reconciliation, and we've really put it at their level, which is really great because reconciliation is such a any sort of sacramental thing is so hard to understand at like a year 3 level, and so it's really awesome we're able to
So I got the Bible verse up. So it was the reason to making the name 24/7. There was these two people that really liked this Bible verse and surrounded basically the whole youth ministry on this. It's, I'll give them a heart to know me, that I am the Lord. They will be my people and I will be their God, and they will return to me with all their heart. And it's kind of saying how people come back to youth ministry and they give a heart to Jesus in a very safe setting, basically. We do encounter nights where the kids can actually really respond to things, but we only do it really when we know people are ready, because we're not gonna.
You don't do an encounter night every week.
Yeah,
basically.
it's very mentally draining, and like kids obviously don't really understand what's happening, and you have to meet people where they're at. It's not like throwing stuff at them that they can't reach. It's going downstairs and coming to meet them, and then guiding them up.
Sure. So, as much fun as these encounters are, there's also an opportunity for a real discussion about what's going on, something real in their life.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not all just fun and games necessarily.
Yeah.
You kind of couple it with, something more spiritual.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we do themed terms. So, for example, last term, my youth group, we did. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. Types of prayer. We did types of prayer, and so every week we looked at different types of prayer. But then at the end,
What, good and bad.
like as in like vocal prayer. Yeah, well, in a sense, yeah. But like, people never get taught how to pray. pray. Like, even if you're raised Catholic or raised in a religion, like, you don't actually get taught how to pray. Like, how am I supposed to talk to someone I've never met before in my entire life? And so we, like, teach them how to pray. And at the very end of the term, like, obviously it's all fun and games up until then. And then you have one night, really special night, where you're like, this is your invitation if you want to respond to what we've been learning about. And if you're not ready, that's okay. But if you are ready, like, come up, just write a prayer to God, give it over to God. It's a lot about surrendering, stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely, you know, you need to have some sort of, like, serious side, but you definitely need to, like, buff it around, bunch of fun, because people aren't going to come if you're like, oh, it's all about faith and stuff. You really got to, like, make it like a hamburger. Faith's in the middle, and then, like, the two buns are, like, the games and the food and the music. So it's really intentional in the way that we plan our youth groups. Because we were kids once. I wouldn't go to a youth group. It was, like, just, like, in a church.
Fire and brimstone.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so it's really awesome. It's really great.
Oh, we want a bit of yes and in between our...
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
The cool thing is, when I was in year 3 and in year 4 and in year 6, 24 ministry came to my school, and I did all 3 of them, and I still remember them.
Oh, great.
I do those days all the time, and I love year 3. Year 3 is my favorite day, because you get to remember that chemistry set?
Yeah.
So there's like an experiment where you use bleach and betadine and just water, and when you put bleach and betadine, it makes it clear. And it's like such a cool chemical reaction where you can use it to, like, teach the gospel. So it's saying how, like, sin is the gross betadine stuff, and then when you put bleach in it, like, it's Jesus, it disappears.
It's very
and
water into wine.
Kids go nuts over that.
They do love them.
And you just have to be like, Jesus.
There's a meaning behind it. It's pretty cool, but there's a meaning behind it.
There's a meaning behind it. Look at the meaning behind it. But people froth over that. I froth. Every time I do that, I'm like, I get so excited. I do get very nervous that it won't work, but I know it will. But it's very fun.
I think there's a way that... it might be a question that you guys have been posed before, is reconciling the modern world, science, with faith and religion.
Definitely.
And I think there is a connection there because of what you were saying earlier, George, about being encouraged to constantly ask why and ask questions and do that, which is something that both faith and science share. Have you guys come across those tricky pickles that you have to sort of, you know, a kid that really is
every kid
sitting on that agnostic fence or something, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because they want answers.
And
where do you guys sit yourselves on that?
I definitely, like, science and religion definitely can go hand in hand. People don't think that can happen. The Big Bang Theory was discovered by a Catholic priest, and I, like, really try and put that in conversation whenever someone poses me, oh, science and religion can't be hand in hand. I recently went on a year 8 ministry day. I had all boys, and literally every one of them were like, oh, this is stupid, and, like, kept trying to talk to me about evolution and Big Bang Theory, and I was like, the Big Bang, sorry, I just, like, got that TV show in my head for a second. Like, trying to convince me, like, oh, I'm disproving God's existence because I'm putting forward all these science explanations, and I'm like, in a way, you're just showing how cool God is. And and just like, and a lot of people bring forward these, like, I'm going to disprove your religion by bringing forward something, when in fact, like, they actually probably have heard that from somewhere and actually aren't hearing the truth of what, you know, faith is all about. Like, people can bring forward and be so hurt by the faith, and you can really hear it, and people don't usually like to argue with you. They just want to, like, they don't want to hear what your reasoning is. They just want to argue with you, basically. And the amount of time,
approach it really
absolutely, and you have to just really meet them there and be like, obviously not going to yell at them. You really just need to sit there and be like, look, I can hear, like, you know, you really, really don't want to be here today. But, like, there's something that you can get out of this day, even if you're not religious. There is so much stuff you can get out of today. Our days are based around things, like older years as well, are based around creation. You don't have to be religious to appreciate creation. It's just really awesome. And you meet them all the time at youth group, at school ministry days. Every day you'll meet someone who will really, like, don't want to be there and has had a bad experience with something to do with faith. And you just have to be like, yeah, and that's okay. Like, let's talk about that. Like, let's open up a conversation about it, because you're not going to get anywhere by just, like, you know, continuing a very, like, rigid sort of belief, and, like, just being slightly open to what we're talking about is what we need. And we actually are just encouraging you to ask questions, try and figure out what you believe in, sort of thing, which is
right. You're not asking them to be open to what you believe. It's about finding out what they believe.
Absolutely, and we're asking to be open, and then we present something, obviously an option of what
Is an option.
As an option,
Yeah,
but obviously we're not going to be like.
If you're in the
and
market, if you're shopping around,
if you're shopping in the
here's
market.
something you could try.
But and obviously we're like guiding it towards that, but you can't force anyone. Like everyone has free will. Like we really go into like everyone has a choice, and we like just like Jesus never pushes anyone to believe in God. We aren't supposed to push anyone.
Yeah. Touching on that's the one thing me and Jojo are very, very adamant about, is that me and Jojo were never forced to believe in a religion. We were born and raised in a non-religious family. Our father is very, very, very smart man, and he is very sciencey. Very sciencey man. And sometimes it's just.
Also, was finding faith your teenage rebellion?
A little bit.
Honestly,
Dad likes to joke about that all the time.
It's so weird how
Literally.
much it looks like we were rebelling, but we were just going to be. It was such an odd experience. We were like sneaking out to go to church. It was a really interesting time in our lives because
a great image.
it was an interesting time in our lives because definitely we're going against the grain, and it's such a weird thing that we're like most families are kids that go against religion, and we're like going to it, and it was a very weird experience. It definitely was. It was very uncomfortable sometimes, but it was really nice to have Georgia with me basically the entire time. So when we said grace, we normally say it before meal together in our rooms, and then would walk into the kitchen because our family would be like kind of sigh if we said grace at the table, and we'd respect that because obviously they don't really want to say grace. As we gotten older, we've kind of don't really care anymore. We just say grace at the table. We're like, you can do it if you want. You don't have to. It's fine. But sorry, we'll go around that. We had the choice, and no one forced religion on us, and that was the best experience because we got to choose on ourselves. Sometimes I say that I'm very glad that I wasn't born into the religion because I got to make that decision for myself.
Yeah,
and there are
completely unbiased.
Absolutely.
yeah, and in our lives, like our lives definitely, we've been forced to love people we don't want to. We've been forced to do stuff that we don't want to. And God is someone that's like, you can love me from your own accord and give. Like, I 100% haven't given my entire heart to the Lord. And sometimes I think that I'll only give it to him when I die and I'm at the gates of heaven because I'm human and I have I have a human brain and
you've
have
got commitment issues like
yeah,
all of us.
everyone has commitment
Absolutely.
issues.
Yeah.
And like giving, some like I feel like I've been so hurt in the past that giving my heart to God is so scary. It's definitely a very scary thing.
Especially when it's not, I would say, a really popular thing to do.
Oh yeah,
in
It's
in
not.
the 21st
like
century. It's
opposite now. Like back in whatever back then, it was
In the
weird not
olden
to be
days, yeah.
Catholic. But now you are going against the grain by being Catholic. Like you say Catholic, and everyone's like, oh, it's a bit weird, and you're like, oh, it is a bit weird,
That's a
and
strange
it's a bit
choice.
yeah,
Yeah.
Have you
different.
heard the news?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
absolutely. It's a sense of going against what's the norm now, and what I like to picture is what someone explained to me when I first got interested in developing like a personal relationship with Jesus and God and stuff. It's like a one-way door, and so Jesus actually doesn't have a handle on his side, so he can't force a relationship with you. You are the only person who can open the door. And I heard a podcast, I'm just going to mention this, I heard a podcast the other day, Father Mike Schmitz, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but he said God owns everything in the world, everything except for your heart, and he's never going to take that without asking you
that's
first.
a good line.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
And like
I
he's-
really like
I always
it.
think of him as the perfect gentleman. But the thing is that sucks with me is that I have a personal relationship with God. I would feel like it's really tough to share my relationship with like a boy or something and say what
funny.
Or
beca-
something.
or something because I see like him as like a father figure. And I think males have a different, it's like an idol kind of thing, like is someone that they strive to be like Jesus is someone they strive to be like. It's like a different sort of relationship, but yeah, it's really cool. Like me and Jojo got to choose our own paths, and that's why I never force. Like I'm whenever I'm at like uni parties or something, I always have a conversation because I mentioned something that I'm religious, and they'll always
What about this?
what about this? And it's really tough sometimes because I always have to be on guard. Like I always have to set it up for my religion, and that's super draining sometimes. But also, it's fun, but they ask me these hard-hitting questions, and I'm like, oh man, we're just at
a party, man.
a party. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, like you're still normal people.
Yeah.
You kind of
Yeah.
still just want to be at a party.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and like it's like a
And not
spotlight
be-
on you
have
for
to
a
be
while.
an advocate
Yeah.
for the thing that like you're not representing them
Yeah.
at this function. You are
Yeah.
just another person at this
yeah,
thing.
it's very true.
I can understand that must be
Yeah.
kind of tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, it's just really struck me now because I realised how long it's been since I've been to a party.
Classic. That's funny.
So you mentioned uni.
Yeah.
Is that you're studying, Georgia? You're being studying nursing.
I am. Yeah.
I'm studying criminology and psychology.
That
Yeah.
is sick.
Killer.
So,
That is really cool.
So it is the sickest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It took me 2
That's
years.
like not a sitcom, but that's a drama series right there. Like someone could be, you could be a consultant on a new Netflix series. That's what I'm thinking.
That's
Wait,
really
has it
cool.
already been done? All right, we're going to double check that, and then I'm going to give
probably
writer's
done.
credit, and we'll talk later. But please tell me again. Yeah, criminal. How'd you get into that?
Okay, so I really enjoy. I'm a person where I always see the good in people, and it's a blessing, but it's also sucked because sometimes I give people second chances that probably shouldn't give people second chances. My goal in life is to give someone like in prison or something the one last chance for repentance, because I've noticed like with family members they've just been so exhausted and they can't give another chance. They are so tired of this person, where someone that's non-biased can just come out and say, I give you one more chance. If you take it, I can help you. So my goal in life is to go mostly juvenile like areas.
Offenders? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, juvenile offenders. I don't know why I said area. And talk to them, try and make them. But I think in my life, I really enjoy talking to people that feel like they are unloved, because I've been there before, definitely. And I've had people that have come out of the blue and have just helped me through some stuff, and it's really, really rewarding. Plus, I feel so happy when I'm helping people like that. But I also genuinely really enjoy studying like psychology. I love learning the theories behind it. Like most people would study psychology become like a psychologist. And as much as like I'd probably maybe become a psychologist, I love researching. So I want to be like a researcher. And I want to make research out there so people in further generations can actually do stuff that we can't at the moment because we don't have the research for.
I'm hearing a theme in the things that you're saying. You
I search for the truth.
like to be the catalyst for change, either in someone's life, a young person's life, or later on, you know, for rediscovering the truth behind a situation, being someone's last hope. The levels of empathy just streaming off you two are
Thanks.
I told you they were great people. I told you that I was interviewing them.
you did, but you were all pepped up on sugar, and I wasn't sure whether to believe
I wasn't sure
you.
whether it was true.
I'm
know-
14 years old. I don't get pepped up on sugar. I get happy off sugar.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I was sleeping on the couch before. I was tired.
You already had a crash this morning.
Sugar crash, exactly right.
That's
They
funny.
know you. They know you
They
too
know
well.
me. They know me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took 2 gap years. Woo. I did a gap year to do Bible college. Whoa. And then I just a normal gap year. Because I was like, before I study psychology, I want to make sure my mental health is top notch, because
Oh,
going
you
in-
have to. First year psych
Yeah.
students
Oh.
are a different kettle
going
of fish
into
altogether,
a
right?
psychology and criminology unit, you must be on top of your game,
Yeah.
because you will see and hear things that are like, oh no, and you have to make sure that you're mentally okay. So I took a year, best year of my life, and just focus on myself, and that's very weird for me because I don't like focusing on myself, but I focus on my mental health.
It's hard, yeah.
It's a weird experience. Like you feel very, very
mirrors,
like self.
mirrors in general, whether they're metaphorical or not, just
Yeah.
the worst.
But yeah, and then I started this year, and I am so proud of myself because I'm actually studying something I really enjoy, and getting like pretty good grades, which is really awesome. But also meeting people and
Getting
seeing
uni experience.
getting uni experience. I never thought I'd go to uni. I don't know why. But no, really, really happy about it, and I finally get to. It's interesting when you actually study something you enjoy. Like in high school, there'll be stuff where you're like, I'm not doing well in maths because obviously I'm not good at maths. But because I love psychology, I love doing the assignments because I love researching about the things. It's amazing stuff, and man, it's a really good experience, and I'm really glad I chose it. I never thought I would actually do it. I in my mind I was like, I'll just, because I'm a barista, I was like, I'll be a barista my entire life. But actually,
What's wrong with that? Everything.
I don't earn much. But yeah.
Well, unless you end up going to the World Championship barista.
Maybe. You never know.
I might with
seen
my
that
awesome
footage?
mocha making.
Yeah.
Australia
Jack does
really
make
well in
an
those
amazing
competitions.
mocha.
Do you?
He
You know
does. We were on
mocha's
a
my
camp.
jam.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to make you one.
I have a little keep cup called Mocha Master.
Whoa. No, we went on a camp, like one of those big camps, and every morning would make me mocha.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
That's also
Well,
Jack.
I'd make it and then give it to Georgia, and then Georgia would go into the bunk.
Go into the
Yeah.
bunk and here's your coffee.
because every morning Charlie would not get up at the
I'm a big sleepy person, I'm sorry.
She's very hard to get up. Yeah.
Make me mocha.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, so
Yep.
Hip hop.
if you like psychology, study it. It's really good.
Nice.
Moral of the story.
Do something that you love. And
Do
then
something you
study it.
love, and you never have to work a day in your life. So,
I know, trite but true. Yeah.
but no, it's yeah. So this year's been really, really fun. I really enjoyed it.
I'm so happy for you both. I just am. I feel
Really, really.
overjoyed listening to you both. You both have such great direction,
Oh,
and you're not
Stop it.
you're not being selfish about it. You are passing on what you've learned to others.
See, this is why
That
you
was a
like
high
me,
five, by the way. Yes, they did a high five. We'll do a high five. Are we competing against them? I've got a real competitive streak.
It's
They
okay.
have
You
to
will not
forgive me.
beat us. Have you?
Yeah,
meant to?
just so you're aware, you're not.
we
That's why I'm
we
not-
shared a womb with each other. Did
Yeah,
you
you
know?
win.
Did
You
you
win.
know twins are less likely to get married because they've already found their soulmate?
Did you say this fact every time?
I say this fact every time.
It's a great fact.
That's why my brother's
Yeah.
30 years old and lives by himself.
Yes, that's why I'm gonna die alone. No, I used to call, when I was younger, I used to call her my portable best friend. She didn't
Tin
know.
best friend. I
that's
did
so-
not. Did not.
Because
like
it's
that.
like when you went on camping trips with your family or you went on like a school trip, your best friend was there.
Yeah.
Like during quarantine, it was a breeze because I had my
was
best
so
friend with
fun.
me. We read the book Coraline. That was the
Oh,
greatest
yeah.
thing ever.
That
we
he's-
just made our own book club with each other. It was pretty.
He's getting everything that he's ever done turned. He's getting Sandman is coming out soon. Good Omens was done. Neil Gaiman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
cool.
dude.
Fanboy.
See, we've watched the movie a billion trillion
Charlie
times.
likes to analyze it every time we watch it.
It's
She's
a
like,
good
this is
movie.
symbolism.
So we actually read the book, and the book is way different than the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's still
There's
good.
no Wybie in it.
Yeah, where's
Where's
Wybie?
Wybie?
Anyway.
Yeah, well, cut for time, I guess, on the cutting room floor.
I've never watched Caroline actually.
It's
I've just
Coraline.
It's Coraline. It's a
Coraline.
that's
Coraline.
actually a quote from the movie.
Yeah, that's what.
Coraline Jones. Anyway, watch it.
Okay.
It's a
I'll
little
have to watch it.
spooky, but I think
I know.
you're
I
okay.
hate spooky.
Oh yeah, it's
movies.
rated
I'm really-
PG. I
It
don't not
It's
know
not.
why.
It's scary.
It's so
It's
creepy.
scary.
Is
I-
it Disney? Is it Disney? or?
I'm not sure.
don't
Maybe.
know.
DreamWorks.
It's
DreamWorks,
somewhat
one
of
of
those.
them.
It's if I ever got a tattoo, I'd get a button.
Yeah.
Yeah, over my eyes. No, I'm kidding. I would do
on
that.
the eyelids.
On my eyelids. So when I close my eyes, there'll be
tattoo
buttons.
is gonna be, okay, you can't see it on the camera. pretty
Yeah,
much.
flex for us. Go
But-
on.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. So I'm gonna put a sauce bucket here and a nugget, and every time you do this, it dips the nugget into the sauce.
Make sure you think about that for at least a couple years.
And I want the elements.
No, I used to look at it like this is the best decision of my life.
Yeah, on your deathbed.
Oh, it's
This
such
is the best idea I've had in my life. That is the worst idea you have ever had in your life.
Yes.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard you say, though.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Oh, we
Like-
had.
That's
There
not,
like a
that's
story
not meant to be
behind
mean.
Yeah,
like,
we had-
normally I'm trying to be mean to you, but that's.
Yep.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the competitive streak is the reason that I'm not going to be involved in the quiz that we're doing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed.
He's not allowed.
I do get. I get very
Charlie is so competitive.
like literally.
I've had to learn to just not be competitive because she just gets too
So
much.
I bet I'm more competitive.
whenever we have, Minute to Win It, we always have Minute to Win It at youth ministry events. Have you noticed that I never participate? It's because I will throw something.
And you have to let the kids win, and Charlie just can't do
I can't do it, so I have to be the host every time because I genuinely I can't help myself. So I you notice whenever there's like team sports, I just I can't do it. I'm
What
sorry.
about laser tag? You
Oh,
were so good at laser tag.
Yeah, that's why because I sat down and I didn't do anything because I didn't
You
want
sat
to do
down
it.
and you hit in the hole Oh, you shot everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's how you do it. You get a
That's how you do
top
it.
tool, Yeah.
It was like a half an hour thing and you only got shot once.
Yeah, that's because I'm that competitive.
Yeah, you're like, nope.
No, I had to really like rein it in because I'm like the kids didn't win, but yeah, I'm very competitive, but I don't really show it because it's a very ugly side of me.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Georgia.
Shows you care.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
so.
you guys are meant to be spicy, not
We
lovey-dovey.
told our mum that we would promise not to fight on
The last thing she said to us is
The
that
last
don't
thing-
fight.
She was so excited. And
Oh,
she,
you always
I
do
told her
what
I'd
your
mention
mum
her. I'm mentioning her now. Hey, mum. Her name
Hey,
is
Mum.
Linda.
I love you, Mum.
As we were leaving this morning, she was like, "Girls, please don't fight on the train. It'll be there forever." Because we bicker a lot. So we promise each other promises. Except maybe when we start
Banter.
doing the quiz,
We might.
might break that.
I think that's allowed because it's
Yeah, that is
technically
allowed.
competition.
Yeah.
It's competition,
So
it's banter, you're allowed to.
trash talk is encouraged.
It's butter.
Just remember, no swearing, but that's about it.
I work in
apart
youth
from
ministry.
that-
I don't swear. I
Um,
You
don't.
told me yesterday. Okay, I have to be careful not to swear.
Well, I have to. Well, just in case. You know what I mean? You could slip out.
Wait,
but-
so are there any no-go zone? Like, are there areas of sensitivity for you both? That buttons that you've just agreed you're not allowed to push?
like with each other.
Yeah.
Touching each other. When we used to younger in the car.
Oh, this is annoying me. Stop.
Sorry.
Stop
sorry.
it. Oh, I hate it.
I would hit
Stop.
to hit each other with like rings, so we end up pushing each other up, and it was just it's so funny. And like, I'm not allowed to, and also we're not allowed to play Spotto anymore because we take
You just like punch each other.
That's me and my
my.
No,
that's
I
me and
remember-
my
have to
sister.
be like Spotto.
We do a double tap. We literally changed the rules because we got too aggressive. Yeah, I don't like people touching my feet. That's one thing. George doesn't
We used to
play footsies or anything.
till like
We shared a room until 18.
we shared a bed. When
That's
we were
close.
younger, and I used to always touch her just to annoy her, and she would.
I put pillows in between the bed because I was like, don't get on my side.
We did bunk beds for a long time.
Oh, can I share a quick story? Sure. Georgia once, when we were younger, you know in bunk beds, when you're on the bottom of the bunk bed and you push the top one and you like the mattress
yeah.
goes up. Georgia once pushed it so hard that me and my whole mattress just fell on the ground. And then we heard Dad coming, and Dad, we love our dad, but he's very strict. And we were like, quickly! So I just went on the other side of the mattress on the floor and then pretended to be asleep. And I was like real hurt. And then Dad was like, what are you doing? And we're like, oh, I just feel like sleeping on the floor. I got in trouble. And then we put it up.
Okay, so we know who the evil twin is. I'm sorry for saying that.
Everyone
because
used to
that's-
always say that. Who's the evil?
They used to always say I was the
Yeah,
evil
I
twin,
know,
but
that must be a terrible. That would be a normal
I
thing
feel
to
like
happen.
we should mention the cheekbone. Not the cheekbone. The bone structure story.
Okay.
Oh, when Charlie was younger.
So when I was younger, and I only found this out. Sorry, about a year ago I found this out. So I in my mind, I thought that when you're born, like the heritage that you come from is the reason you have your accent. So like people from England would have a bone structure that made an English accent, or like if you were French or something, you had a bone structure that made you had a French accent. So I was like to Georgia, why don't we have an English accent? Because our grandma's English. Wouldn't we like? Is it just like we've just evolved? And she's like, she's like, you learn your accent when you grow up from your parents. I was like, no, you learn it.
Born with it.
You're born with it, and your mouth makes it that sound. And she's like, that's not true. Anyway, I found that out last year that's not a thing. I don't know why. Dead set was like, so I was like, no, 100% Jojo, you loser.
That is not
I don't
a
wanna talk about.
terrible thing though. Like, I mean, it's fairly late to learn it. I'll tell you one that I had. When I was younger, I used to think that planes simply took off, went up into the air, and waited for the Earth to
That is so funny. That is actually a really good idea.
I would believe that if someone
That's
told me
a
when I
great.
was younger.
I want to tell my kids
That's
that.
hilarious.
That's
Oh
funny.
my gosh.
That's how I thought it worked.
Mum used to say like, because we were so annoying. We were so annoying, and
She's like pull over and be
she'd
like,
be like,
"You
pull
get
over
out."
and be like, get out. But
You're walking
she
home.
had this, the hazard lights, and she's like, I'm gonna push this. The police are gonna come if you keep yelling. And to this day, I'm scared to push that button because all like the little handbrake
Handbrake
button
thing.
would eject you out of the car.
Oh, that's a
Like
good
just
one.
things like that.
You know
Yeah.
the little the things on the top of the car and you hold it when it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. My mum used to say when you pull it, you're talking to Jesus.
That's so
that.
cute.
Yeah, like you're holding Jesus'
Hey,
hand.
Jesus. Oh. I used to think Jesus was
Adorable.
crying whenever it was raining. And I was like, that makes sense.
I used to
doesn't
thought you could only talk to Jesus if you shot up your prayer. So you did this
it? Yeah.
at the end of a prayer.
After every prayer, you'd be like,
Oh, that's very
and...
cool.
So I used to genuinely do that all the time, and when I was getting older, I was like, I'd say a prayer, and I wouldn't do that because people were around me, and then I would wait until I get home, and then I go.
I
George
think
hasn't got
that's
my
great.
Georgia. Jesus hasn't got my prayer yet. I have to mail it to him.
No, we
Yeah.
should advocate that. I think there needs to be letters written to the papacy
Yeah.
That
right
needs to
now.
be done.
Yeah, that needs to be changed.
That's
Yeah.
a great
How else is
marketing
Jesus going to
tool.
get our prayer?
Yeah, exactly. Off yes, no, yes, man. I'm thinking Drew So Mighty when he has like emails.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's a fun movie.
You know Jim Carrey?
Yes.
He did a movie called Bruce Almighty.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he like becomes, and it gets all the
All these
all the
emails.
prayers.
I haven't heard that in so long. That's a good movie. Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be worth rewatching actually. That'd be good.
Yeah, I love that
Jim
movie.
Carrey.
And when you just pressed accept and like...
And he said yes to
100%.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to all of
100
them, yeah.
and like heaps of people won the lottery and they ended up getting like 50 cents each.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, very
Okay,
true.
this is a little bit of a jump, but I went from Jim Carrey to God to Morgan Freeman,
Yes.
as you do. And I saw
Morgan
a
Freeman
photo
is
the
just
other day.
God.
Did you know Morgan Freeman used to be in the Air Force? He was a wing commander
Oh, wow.
and a
What a cool
dead
dude.
handsome one at that.
Oh, my God.
Really
He's I
strange.
love his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I picture like God off like a movie, I'm always picturing.
Yeah, I pictured God as Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Actually, that's something I wanted to ask you. You mentioned it earlier, and I'm
Yeah.
umming because my doctor experiments off me.
We'll
But-
get into that later.
What?
We'll explain. But the male factor.
Mm.
You mentioned that you picture God as
Yeah.
a father figure,
So yeah.
but and maybe this is more of a Buddhist thing, but maybe God isn't either.
100%
force.
true.
So, like, how do you?
So I kind of think whenever I say, if I ever talk about God in a masculine way, usually I'm talking about Jesus
Mhm.
as like a male on earth. God is a very tough thing because obviously it's very tough to explain that like they're the same person but they're also two different people. It's really tough. In my mind, it's like he still has a male presence because of Jesus, but when I think about it logically, it's not like that.
Yeah. The
Like-
English language doesn't.
It doesn't incorporate who God is because
Yeah.
God isn't like it's really hard to explain. Like
Even
God
using the
is
word
me.
who
yeah,
kind of seems.
yeah,
The English language
Wrong,
is
doesn't it?
limited to explain what God is, and my religion teacher gave a really great example of like, if you fully understand God, then you're not understanding Him correctly because there's no way you can
Right.
fully understand
And that's
Him.
a great notion.
And that's the great part of it.
if you're comfortable with who you know, how you know who God is, then I don't think you have the right
Yeah.
all the facts because
Yeah.
there's no way you could understand
Yeah,
who
something
God
He's
is.
ineffable,
Yeah,
unknowable.
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
so saying things like he, him, it's a way to just get around
Yeah.
and
Yes.
communicate effectively.
And it's
right?
tough because like I sometimes do it like subconsciously and I don't really in my mind I don't really mean it, but it's the only word I can really describe it, like
Yeah.
God.
And we're comfortable using like He as well. Which
Yeah.
So I imagine you guys have had that discussion. It's like, well, how do we feel about this? Do
Mm.
we want to start referring to God as she? Have you met anyone who does?
I feel
I
like
don't think I've ever met anyone that's. I've listened to the Ariana Grande song "God is a Woman," and I'm like, oh, interesting concept.
Really great film clip. You know
But,
what I'm talking about.
But
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that's that adamant of calling God a she. I just think someone who does that is usually someone who's taken the Mickey out of it, sort of thing.
Again, trying to be provocative.
a little bit
making a
hurtful in a
point.
way, yeah.
But if someone wants to
Really?
refer to God as a she, like I have no problem with it. But as it's usually used as like a as like an insult. It's not usually a genuine she. It's usually like
I think
Oh,
that's why God came on earth as Jesus, as like a male, just because
He could read he could read the lay of the
You can read that.
Yeah.
This is confusing.
He's like, I need
No.
to sort
I'm going to
something
get
out.
a lot more done as a guy at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
But he also made it very confusing as well.
Come back in the 21st
made it more
century.
confusing for Tony as well.
Yeah.
No,
might
it's-
do, might
it's
do
a-
well as a woman.
It is
Yeah.
definitely like, it's such a tough thing. I do enjoy that, like, I can actually picture God as a person, as in Jesus. But God as a concept, God as God,
Yes.
is really tough to get your head around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
And that's the beauty
it's a
of it.
feeling, it's a person, it's a God. I just always refer to God as God. Like, God's pretty cool. And that's it.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
it's
Yeah.
true.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so do you want to put these ladies to the test?
Yeah, do you want to do
Yes.
it?
We'll put a couple of songs on so we can have
Yeah.
a breather because that was an awesome talk. We went a little bit over 20 minutes. Well, not really. Quite a lot over 20
Ah,
minutes.
that's all right.
That's all right.
What
It was a
time?
great talk. Thank you guys for sharing everything that you did. This is Try by Pink.